The Wett Spot is sponsored by Passionate Words Editing Services. At Passionate Words Editing Services, words are a writer's currency. We help you spend them wisely. For all your editing, proofreading, transcribing needs, follow at Passionate Words Editing on Instagram. That's at passionate.words.editing on Instagram, or on Facebook on facebook.com/passionate words editing. Let's help you spend your currency well. Follow Passionate Words on Instagram or Facebook now. The Wett Spot by PassionPoet. This is a space for intimacy, vulnerability, transparency. A place where we not only talk about eroticism and sex, but we'll also touch on topics that may make you a little vulnerable, a little exposed. However, this is a safe space where you can disrobe and get real. There is no judgment allowed here. So are you ready? Let's get wet. In this segment, I want you to get comfortable as I read one of my pieces, because the words may move you, they may inspire you. Who knows? They may even get you wet. So sit back and listen. Wind of 1,000 whispers. Listen. Do you hear it? Be still. Can you feel it? There it is again and again. Zephyr of confession, rustling leaves of indifference, rustling discontent, sending unease through societal atmosphere. Centuries of pain unearthed, hidden pain cracked as Pandora's box was found and opened. Wind picking up speed. There it is again. Breeze blowing harder as courage formed in multiple voices. Those whose fear had kept them silent for far too long, emboldened by the disturbance in the atmosphere. There is strength in numbers. Whispers pick up pace. Wind increases. Whispers strengthen resolve as hardened patriarchal bowls sway wildly in the gathering onslaught. Whispers pick up gale force as tropical depression gives way to international awareness as multiple whispers reach hurricane force. There it is again. Louder, faster, harder. Collective whispers now uncontrollable, unstoppable, snapping hardened hearts like twigs breaking off societal apathy, lethargy and silence deafening. Silence too long, but no more. There is no I in this storm. Collective rage overpowers years of keeping the pot covered to stay respectable and quiet. To protect fragile masculine egos, fearful of patriarchal backlash. Shh, tell no one or I will kill you. Let this be our little secret. No one has to know. No! No more! Whispers no longer, the murmur of individuals, tsunamis strong. We will not be silent. In the face of trepidation, we will speak our truths. Where will the wind of 1,000 whispers take us? What will the voices of 1,000,000 women make us? Women standing, defending, ripping the scab off the societal ugliness for all to see. Cause see, the society's infected, sickness pervasive, so invasive that just like the other big C, it ate away at cells undetected. But this cancer is not cervical, it's callousness, and needs radical corrective consciousness to be corrected. Subjected to eons of abuse at the hands of those they respected, they have finally objected, and as the movement gathers momentum, this hurricane will devastate, intimidate, frustrate, complicate those whose skins are thinner than paper. But I beg to differ. I pray, do not waver. Because passion is more than sex, and I know that the wind of 1,000 whispers will bring forth change. In this segment, I invite you to join me as I speak about a current Wett topic with a guest to the show. I hope you enjoy as we get wet together. In plenty and in time of need, when this fair land was young, our great forefathers sowed the seed from which our pride is come. A pride that makes no wanton boast of what it has withstood, that binds our hearts from coast to coast, the pride of nationhood. We loyal sons and daughters all do hereby make it known. These fields and hills beyond the recall are now our very own. We write our names on history's page with expectations great. Strict guardians of our heritage, firm crossed men of our fate. Happy Independence, Barbados. I'm recording this a day after, and for those of you who are listening who are not Barbadian, we just celebrated our 53rd anniversary of independence yesterday on November 30th. And what I have just sang is the first verse and chorus of our national anthem. First, let me give a special shout out and salutation to our newest ancestor, Mr. Irving Burgee, who died yesterday. He was the writer of our national anthem, and it was fitting. It was I don't know what I should say. I feel it was fitting. I feel it was like it was symbolic almost, in a sense, that he died yesterday, the day that we celebrated our independence, and that the day that our national anthem became, our nation, took up the sacred emblems of our national anthem, our national pledge, and our flag. So, fly free, Mr. Burgee. We expect you will be watching from the other side. So yes, this is the wet spot, and I've taken a slight detour from reading a sexy piece, because as I have been encouraged over the years of being Passion Poet, I focused a lot on the sex, and everybody says they want to see more, they want to hear more. So I've given them that, and I've spoken about it several times in my new book, Passion, the Gemini Project. But I'm here to talk independence. I'm here to talk about some serious topics. The poem that I spoke about, this poem that I read today, is based off of a movement that started in Barbados, and I really should have thought about reaching out to the girl who brought Life and Leggings to being. Anyhow, let me and I'll probably do an interview with her at some point in time. But Life and Leggings was a movement started in Barbados, where women, starting in Barbados and then in the Caribbean, and now it's gone global, had wanted to be able to have a space where they could talk about their experiences with sexual harassment as women, and without the male gaze, without if you want to say without male involvement. It started out on Twitter, I think it did, and where people were encouraged to write about a sexual harassment story, and Life in Leggings. It says here on their Facebook page, I'm reading: Life in Leggings, Caribbean Alliance Against Gender-Based Violence, is a registered charity in Barbados founded to tackle the rape culture and gender-based violence in the Caribbean region. The movement began with a hashtag that was created as a safe space for women who had experienced sexual harassment and sexual assault. Women, encouraged by solidarity, were empowered to speak out on their social media platforms about their experiences. This hashtag went viral, making an appearance in countries all around the globe. However, it particularly championed the experiences of women and girls throughout the Caribbean region and its diaspora, as this was the community it originated from and the community it wanted to challenge. Life in Leggings was purposely coined to dispel the myth that only certain types of women are harassed and are deserving of their assaults, abuse because of the way they are dressed. This couldn't be farther from the truth. The success of the hashtag provided documentation of all varieties of gender violence against women in the Caribbean. It showed the need for an organization which championed equal rights, yet understood the socio-economic complexities of the differing Caribbean countries in order to create a lasting impact. It also highlighted that the message of equality needed to be presented in a way that was both accessible and flexible, with a structure enabling independence and support, and a method that could be applied to other countries. Right, I'm gonna stop here. So Life in Leggings started in Caribbean, was focused for Caribbean women and the diaspora, but it has gone global. I'm still in the middle. We are actually right now in the middle of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. So this post and this topic is very poignant at this time. I thought about doing this topic because once again I was on Facebook and I saw a friend of mine. Just in case, I'll pause here to say the founding date of the Life and Leggings movement was the 24th of November 2016. If you are interested in looking up the Life and Leggings movement on Facebook, it is facebook.com/official Life in Leggings. That's official Life in Leggings on facebook.com. You can get information about the charity. Where was I? We are smack dab in the middle of the 16 days of activism, and I really think that this is a very important topic because I was on Facebook, and once again I was seeing friends of mine quarreling bitterly, being frustrated at the level of catcalling and how sexual harassment that they experience on a daily basis, just walking the streets of Barbados. I remember when Life in Leggings started, and when it started, I remember thinking to myself, I really needed to support it, because I remember the times when I was, when I was inappropriate. And being inappropriate as a man, and honestly speaking, the Life and Leggings movement, reading the hashtags, reading the things that the women went through, that they put on Twitter, that they put on Facebook, it broke me. Honest to God, it broke me. I felt so guilty for being a part of, that rape culture. I've never raped anyone, but the culture is pervasive, right? And so I championed the cause of the Life and Leggings movement. I remember at one point though, what I had done, the poem that I wrote today, the poem that I did today, that poem was inspired by the Life and Leggings movement, and these whispers of women gathering strength and becoming a gale force wind, becoming a hurricane force, and being unstoppable. But I had been approached. I had been approached by one of the people who was a leader in the Life and Leggings movement at the time, and she was encouraging me to let the women have their moment. And honest to God, I felt really upset, honestly, and I felt upset, but in a sense I understood. The women wanted their space. But for me, I was trying to show that I was an ally. There's these, you can be an ally. People are allies of the LGBTQ community, and I wanted to show my support at the time, and I still have support. I still support, which is why I'm talking about it now, because people feel, I had this conversation up to yesterday with my parents. People feel that the Erotic Empire brand is all about sex and all about if you want to call it the male gaze, all about me being a man and wanting to fuck anything that passed my path. It is so far from the truth, and I've said that multiple times on this platform. The Erotic Empire brand is specific to empowering women, or at least from a perspective of women can empower themselves, but I wanted to show support and empowerment for show a level of how do I say? I want to express my feelings for a woman in a way that would make them feel empowered and feel good about themselves, being feminine and sensual. Not saying at all that they need me to do this. They are women, they have proven over and over and over that they are able to do it on their own. They are women and they don't need a man to validate them. But I felt the need to showcase, as a man, my respect, my adoration, my devotion to the female form, to the female divine, to feminine divine, to the divine feminine, and this is my contribution to the world, the way I know how. Some people will see it on the surface and think, like up to yesterday, my dad is saying that a friend of his was reading my book or some being in some connection with something I wrote, and he talked to my dad and he's saying how crass it is. And I mean, but if you look at the surface, as I keep explaining, if you look at the surface, I'm talking about sex. I may say fucking, I may talk about fucking, I may talk about the pussy, I may talk about the yoni or what have you, but I never call a woman a bitch. I never call a woman a whore. I never call a woman a slut. What I call them are empress. I call them goddess. I call them, I elevate sex from the carnal to the divine in my work, and this is it. But back to the topic on hand. That's like my pet project, as it were. That's the reason why I do what I do, so I can always go off on tangents. But back on track. Again, I saw my friends online, my friends on my Facebook page, who are bitterly upset at these men who don't have respect for them, and are able and are even saying stuff to them like, we will respect you when you learn to respect yourself. And if I remember correctly, she was very, they were incensed at that because, when do I learn to, I'm trying to see if I can pull up the actual, Facebook, because I saw it yesterday. And I'm trying to see if I can pull it up here quickly without going too far, letting it go on. I'm not seeing it off top of my head. This is all yesterday, and how Facebook is. So, basically speaking, it boils down to the fact that she's like, when are we gonna respect ourselves? When is this gonna happen? Well, do we respect ourselves because you say you tell us in the most graphic way what you want to do to us, and honestly speaking, it shocked me like that in 2019 we are still dealing with men that don't know the first thing about respecting women. And you in every other day you get some sort of thing where a man he can't take a horn. For those who are not Barbadian, a horn is when you're cheated on. You can't take a horn, and so the man gets all in his fragile masculine ego. If I can't have you, no one else will, and he stalks the woman and beats her and kills her and that kind of stuff. I mean, honestly, going through the Life and Leggings movement and the Me Too movement and stuff, honest to God, it shocked the living daylights out of me, because as just as the whites have white privilege, I as a man have masculine privilege. I have male privilege, and because I have male privilege, there are certain things that I can do, and certain things that I don't ever have to think about, that as a woman, women have to think about like constantly, and it blows my mind. Like when it actually came down, and women started to say publicly what they have to go through, how they have to put armor on emotionally whenever they have to walk through the door. It shocked me, because I mean, me, like, I could walk outside bareback. I ain't gotta think about it. As a man, I ain't gotta think about it. Or when I walking through and I see a group of women, I could walk and I just walk past a group of women. I might smile or what have you. I don't fear for my life because I walking through a group of women. But women walking through and see a bunch of men, they automatically have a sense of fear. They automatically they feel their fear empowered. They feel their fear being overpowered. Raped. These catcalls where these men are saying, these men are trying in their limited vocabulary to give compliments, but what they're doing is doing the complete opposite and making the women uncomfortable. And honestly, when I saw it for what it was, especially reading the Life and Leggings posts, it literally blew my mind. Like, women have to walk the street pretending to listen to earphones so that they could not be harassed. And people still, I think in that Facebook post that I'm trying to find, one woman said she's walking past. She doesn't actually have the earphones on, as in she's not actually listening to anything, but she is, she's walking, pretending to listen. And this guy is standing in front of her, like waving his hand in front of her, like he can't just see, appreciate, and walk past. He has to physically restrain and stop her and wave his hand in front of her to stop her so that he could have a conversation and to tell her things in the most lewd way. I am sometimes very, 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 very ashamed of being male because of having to hear these things. Women that I know, women that I love, women that I respect, women that are friends of mine have given over and over and over these conversations, talked about their personal experiences. People who literally have to gear themselves in armor emotionally before they walk through the door. They know, and I wow. And it's not right. And it is not right. So in the middle of the 16 days of activism against gender violence, this is my call to action to everybody listening to this podcast. I always want you to share my podcast. I really do always want you to share my podcast. I'll tell you that I because the podcast is new, I sort of like hover over the stats and like hope and pray that the stats go up, and I want people to hear what I have to say, and I want people to get involved with the Wett Spot. I want people to like my work and to follow the Wett Spot, share it, and all of that. Hi, Colonel. How you doing? Sorry. Yes, the Colonel wants to give his 2 cents in. There he goes again. But in all honesty, this is one episode that I implore you to share. This is one episode that I implore you to share. Not because, and again, Colonel is doing the imploring as well. He and I want you to, I am imploring you, seriously, share this episode. Share this episode because gender violence has to stop. And it's not just men against women. It's women against men too. Agreed. But gender violence has to stop. Really, we have to stop. We have to stop. I mean, this is not the way to cull the planet. This is not the way to cull the explosion of the population of the universe, to the population of the earth. We do. I mean, I'm just being facetious now, but seriously speaking, this got to stop. I hate hearing the stories of women being afraid of walking through a group of men because the men see them as a piece of meat. I remember my friend saying that how can she that she is a big grown woman and a 17-year-old boy is coming at her with sexual innuendo and all sorts of stuff. He's 17. My own son is 2 years younger than him. He's just turned 15 years old. What? Now, I will say that when I write my books of poetry and stuff like that, my target market is women. Like I said, my target market is a woman. I want a woman to read my work and feel good to be sexy. But you know what? I want men to read my book too. You know why? Because on the surface, men need to see how it is, how women are supposed to be treated. I'm not perfect. I'm not a guru. I don't have a degree in psychology or anything like that, right? But I am a man who loves women. I tell people all the time, one of my taglines for PassionPoet is, I am a lover of women and words, not necessarily always in that order. But women are to be respected. Women are the crucible of life. Women are the portal through which life is birthed. Women are to be. Without women, there would be no life. Period. Women have the ability to take an idea because they are nurturers. They have the ability to nurture and birth things, not just physically but emotionally, spiritually. They have the ability to take an idea and have it go through the period of gestation until it is fully formed, and then it is birthed into a powerful force, an idea that birthed into a business, an idea that birthed into different things. I try my best to be very articulate when I'm doing these podcasts, but honestly, this is real. So on this day again of, I don't even know which day, how much days it is. The 16 days of violence ends on December 10th. Right? This is now December 1st. But I really want us as people, men, if you're listening to this, PassionPoet is telling you, women are to be respected. Women are to be protected. Women are to be are equal to you. Even sometimes surpassing, even I would say a woman is a surpass to a man. A woman is stronger than a man. I am a man, so I can tell you. I can give the little secret. And a woman, it is not a secret so much. The amount of pain that a woman has to go through every month in childbirth, and every month in her menses, right? I can tell you no. I was a man. I stub my toe and I just want to curl up in a corner and cry. Women are so strong. Women are so strong. Okay, women are so strong. Women are to be respected for the powerhouses they are, for the creative nexuses that they are, and to be, no, man. So every man listening to this, I want you to understand what I'm saying. Passion is saying to you, if you are one of the people who only see women as sexual objects, stop it. Be a supporter of the woman. This is a reason for PassionPoet. This is a reason for the Erotic Empire. The Erotic Empire is not just a place that is all about sex. It's not. And I deliberately decided that this time I would do something that is not sexy at all as it relates to the poem, the conversation, nothing so. Right? So as I come to a close, because I could go on and on about this, as I come to a close, right, I want you to know that women are to be respected. I big up my friend Ronald King for having the initiative, for birthing the Life and Leggings movement, because women needed a voice. And the Me Too movement, and it makes you feel like, what can you say now to a woman? You know, if you flirt too hard, you might be put in trouble and thing. But and for me, I like to flirt, right? But there got to be a way to tell a woman that she is pretty without making her feel uncomfortable. There got to be a way to make a woman feel gorgeous without making her feel uncomfortable, or make her, even if you know her and you have a level of relationship with her and you can say something sexily to her, there got to be a way to do it without her feeling like she's a piece of meat. And I'm hoping that when you read my work and you recognize the work through my eyes, that those poems that I write have that in mind. I try my best that when you read those poems, as a woman, you feel a sense of empowerment. When a man reads those words, he sees a woman's attempt at showing a woman how beautiful she is without being because there's a space for sex. There's a space for I want to fuck you and that kind of thing. But it is in a context. It is context. It is in relationship. It is, you don't just go out to a random woman and say something like that. You have history with a woman. You and her have a connection, and that's when you get to the cross. These books can be used and should be used in relationship. But at the same time, there are love poems in there where you can tell a woman how beautiful she is. And this, I write for couples. I write in a specific way for a specific market. But just because I say I have poems like I want to fuck a poet, does not mean that I intend to get up from here and go and screw the first woman I see, go and rape a woman or anything. So don't get it twisted. Passion is more than sex. Just because I write, just because I focus on sex in my work, does not mean that I am endorsing in any form of gender violence. So this is my way of saying to the men, pull up your socks. To the women, continue to be the beautiful flowers of powerful powerhouses that you are. And I have great respect for you. And I want, like I said, I have always said, I really want everybody to take my words and share my pieces and share everything. But this piece, especially because we're dealing with the gender violence in this time, I want you to take this and share this everywhere, because this is a message that needs to go out. This is PassionPoet. This has been the Wett Spot. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me on the Wett Spot. My name is PassionPoet. You can find me on Instagram at Bajan Passion Poet. BAJANPASSIONPOET. Bajan Passion Poet. Or on my website at passionpoet.com. I hope to see you next time.